Thank you very much, everybody, and welcome to our Milwaukee Poetry Series reading tonight. We're in our 17th season. We have a great poet tonight who I'm going to introduce in a bit. I'm Tom Hogan, the director of the series, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here and spending some time tonight reading appreciating poetry and listening to poetry and supporting poetry and being in a community to do that. So we appreciate it. It's also Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday, so there have been some other things going on. And again, thank you for being here. And I want to thank everybody who is on the Zoom. Thank you for logging in wherever you may be. So we appreciate you being here too and being able to hear the reading that we're going to have. And as you know, I want to make some thanks to people that are involved in this, especially thanks to the City of Milwaukee, who have been supporting us from the beginning. We're in our 17th season, which is absolutely great. And so we thank the City of Milwaukee. We thank the Leading Library, too. And our liaison from the Leading Library just popped in a little bit ago, and I think she went back out. She has something to do on the floor, but she'll probably be back in. And her name is Tara. And so we really appreciate the support from the Leading Library. We thank the Milwaukee Poetry Series Committee. We do have a committee that works on this, a team. And as you know, you don't have something happen unless you have a team working on it. So we do. And a big thanks to Kristen, who is over here, and my lovely wife, Jane, who is on the team and brought the cookies and the candy and the balloon. So we thank you for that. And finally, thanks to Willamette Falls Media, Corey and Breeden here. So they are the tech people that are here, and so they are responsible for the technology and for both recording this and for sending this reading out on live stream. So we are live streaming the reading. So a big thanks to Willamette Falls Media. Yes. Turning up the volume? Your
energy is perfect, but the volume.
All right. Well, maybe I need to ask Corey to turn it up. How about that? Am I closer to the, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Were you hearing me okay? Okay. Well, so certainly, this is fine too. So, thanks. Let me say a couple of things about some material that are back there. We do have a flyer for the series. We're on the second Wednesday of the month, so the flyers are back there, and we really encourage people to take a flyer. And if you have a place that you could put it up so people can know about the series, please do that. Or if you have somebody that you want to hand it to, that would be great as well. So please take them with you, and because that's what they're for. Our next reader is going to be Annie Lighthart. So Annie is going to be here on March 13th, and that's a Wednesday evening. We have a broadside of one of our poet's poems. So if you haven't got a broadside already, I think Kristen is going to pass them out. But if you do have them, that's great. And we hope that he will, we'll see if he reads the poem that's on the broadside. I hope he does. We received a grant, so I want to thank the Clackamas County Arts Alliance. We did have a grant that is partially responsible for funding this program, and so we are delighted about that. And we thank the Clackamas County Arts Alliance. I want to say, too, that the poet's books are back here on the table, so they're going to be for sale after the reading, and my wife Jane is going to be selling them. So just take a look at what's here, and they are going to be available to you. So I've been looking forward to this reading. Our poet has read here once before. That was when we were in the Pond House. He read in the Pond House, which was a much different venue, a lovely facility. We're happy to be here, though, in this beautiful room. He is an immigrant writer. Many of you may know that. His poetry collections are The Catalog of Broken Things, Appreciation of Shadows, Synonyms for Silence, and a newer book, the last one out, Future Symptoms. His novel, A Slight Curve, and his memoir, A Broken Russia Inside Me, are forthcoming. He co-edits the Inflectionist Review. His collection of 10 short stories, Interventions in Blood, is part of Hawaii Review issue 91. So you can visit him at Molotkov.com. Would you join me in welcoming a special treat tonight, our poet, A. Molotkov. Let's give him a hand. Please silence your devices, too.
Your palm open to 7 winds, you ask, what if I stay here until a hill grows over me, with a river by its side, a selfish view, and no memory of me? I think the river is actually that way, but we'll go with this. So thank you very much, Tom, for having me. Thank you to the team for the whole wonderful setup. I love being here. And thank you to everyone who came here tonight to listen. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Because of it, I decided to stay on a personal note today, and I have some political poetry and some other socially engaged poetry in my books. But tonight I'm focusing on interpersonal poetry, love poetry. When we talk love poetry, we should allow for other options such as grief and dead speakers and dead protagonists, and a lot of it is fiction for me. It's not necessarily true stories from my life. So thank you for being here tonight. And this one is called Love Letter. We sail into a promised future, if we believe. But the ocean grows, and the shore is less real with every mile we cross. Is life an endless dialogue of waves, a story we tell ourselves? When all hope is gone, lay me on the deck among lost questions. Fashion a sail of me. And can everybody hear me okay? On fire, love, killing, and other items. You in the garden among growing things, in the far corner, silent, more shadow than person. When I hand you a knife, I don't mean cut me open, I mean feed me. I imagine a fire. You are welcomed by it. I'm lost in the dark, this side of the door you closed behind you. You are embedded in me. When I say bring the firewood, I don't mean burn me. I don't mean only ash. I also mean love. Memory's not enough. When you said remember me, I hope you meant forget me. When I say wait, I mean survive, be there. Correction. As I sing to you, all ships will arrive on schedule in correct boards. As I sing to you, there will be no mistakes. While I sing, the universe will run as planned. All of it, with its suns, its black holes, its people, its dragons, its dragonflies. Brief rediscovery of minerals. If you believe in chemistry, you've learned brief beings with golden thoughts arise from minerals. I'm something from before, something you said in passing. I don't know you like this in your own after. The street corner looks the same, but I'm not here. A greenhouse, a blue house, a gray, a yellow, our reliable memories, our impossible futures. I connect to you in thought, mine then, yours now. I took a shorter path. In some universe we both exist. In some light we cast more than one shadow. You carry me back. If you believe in alchemy, gold might fall into place from simple elements on hand. Love letter. The street without an end, full of crossings. If I had 1,000 years, it would be just as unknown. Days written on our backs, and you, so near to me, so full of secrets. The persistence of music. Yesterday, blue rain fell on me. I found my hair on the pillow, lovely beige clumps, dry like distance. I remember your hands running through it. I'm on read-only access. There is nothing unique about being archived. Next upgrade might be my last. I recall your final breath drawn through the tube, the DNA collector's smile as I waited. You are pure data now, immune to time as my memory fades. They say the outer planets are more hospitable to my kind, but I'm loath to leave this place we shared. Maybe I should sing again, but who would listen? My survival stock drops daily. Tomorrow, an afterthought. Your DNA reveals compassion skills, something I have always valued. I noticed you in the maintenance line, giving out upgrades, your smile patient and kind, the way you paid attention to everyone, even lower grade aliens. You reminded me there are still songs to sing. Without you, I don't know how to be me. I lack self-confidence. I doubt my uniqueness index, the very thing you used to like about me. Is a song too small, cowardly? Can music matter to those in pain and beyond pain? Your DNA descends from Homo sapiens. How old-fashioned. To me, you were breathtakingly beautiful, no matter your origins. You wanted me to sing, not for you, but for myself and those who can hear. You made my future possible. You helped me even as your own future was coming to an end. You'd mentioned a pending upgrade, but I ignored you. My blindness bites, chews at me. I'm knee deep in song. I wish we could replay with full audio-visual feedback. Rewind. You were the all of all. And even this doesn't say enough. You were the only path, and you ended. I opened myself to what you lacked in me, to the way you wanted me to be. One of the outer planets will be named after you, preserved in thought and harmony so others can fondly say you, not knowing it's you. I love you more since you are shut down. You've taken me without winding. I know you bit by bit. I learned from your absence. My mouth is dry, my vocal cords atrophied, yet I sing. As if never were an option. Time changes its mind, bares its weak teeth. Your suitcase of unused days packed to the brim. You travel away from this half-life with its lights. You a buried void in me. How to say this in the language of the dead with my half mouth? Love letter. Red button on my chest, but I can't press it. And you don't dare. Relax, love me more. After all, what's the end to someone like me? My heart connects to the world with myriad threads, but my aged inner sequence breaks. The thin zipper slides open on my fragmented mind, ready to retire. If you want, you may finish it. When I'm off, look inside me. Relax. No one is watching. Stretch your arms into me. It's up to you what you grasp. Empty space or a handful of stars. Unlove. If I lived on the surface of the sun, I would burn for the rest of my life without going to hell like a moth. I would miss you. I miss you anyway. I crawl through you like a broken mirror. I cry from your eyes when I'm free. I stand before you bleeding. If I lived on the surface of the sun, I would miss you. Ways around it. Life as an accident, a fire, an explosion, future added and subtracted as we curve carefully around our intended paths, rubbing our mistakes off on those who love us. In the cellars of our minds lie full chests of love and gold, but we don't know which is love and which is gold, and which last week's lunch, or a memory from many years ago, an anchor in the dark. The fireworks and the reflections in your eyes, and how you said, I can't do this anymore. How could you, in this expiring future, with these effortless lights, your lungs full of holes? Love letter. We wait in line to become obsolete, to trade places with shadows. I turn around, and in the line behind me, I see you, your face immense, intent as only you can be. If some of us are like you, then all at once I'm less obsolete. This one is called 10 Love Stories. You were the brightest apple, most fit for my hand. My hand was unfit for more. I was seduced by the skin of the brightest apple that fit my eye. Broken, fading, then remembered. You stood between the mirror and the tree, the apple in your hand, reflectionless. We shared the rules. I entered you expecting to emerge improved. Inside a bed, stained mattress, needles, a rusty apple core, a door without a handle locked behind me. I'm stuck inside your wrong self. Am I the wrong I? They are my needles, my stains, my apple. I paid for apples. You filled my hands with rocks. My train was leaving. Any story is unlikely, and if my story lacked you, apples would fall from my hands. Rocks would fill my dreams. If I don't find you, nothing will ever reach me, not even the moon. Apples, apple trees, apple truths, apple blossoms, lips full of empty promises before the war. How are we to know what remains after years burn? Leaves turn to ashes, shadow where the tree stood. Who could have known the apple would fall into my heart, rip me open? Who knew the body was already ripe? When we fell apart in love and time stopped, the mystery was laid open, as if we had to bite into ourselves to know, as if we never were the same. The worm draws the apple's brown rot spreads through your well-being. You find the stars misaligned, the well in the backyard filled with sand. Some animals depart, others decay. You write a love letter you'll never send. My train leaves. The air, the animal, the run, the missing apple, missing story, missing face are here before with its own hereafter tailored to our methods of love and ways of longing, the ends and the promises, and a stained mattress on a broken bed where no one sleeps, you lost elsewhere. You send a letter meant for everyone, like an open hand, or a love song written in ruins, the background of your life. Your quick moves, efficient body, quick death. I place an apple in your coffin. I'm still here. When the basket broke, the apples scattered, and no one, not even you, could pick up each one. What we think is love escapes, replaced by a new concept of love to fit the new self. You enter me, the apples disappear. I was a simple apple. My tray was leaving. You picked me up, laid me in your basket. I lie, chosen. How's everybody doing? This is a longer poem that is a sort of sequel to my poem called The Melting Hourglass. That's in my first book. And it operates with these two characters, Gumbelt and Zungbilda. They are also characters in some of my fiction, and they take on different realities depending on the text. Time signatures. As if in slow motion, a dog carries a long bone past my window, a story of a creature who'd lived a while, perhaps my own story. And since that time, not much has changed in Gumbelt's life. He dons his glasses. His vision is unimpaired, but he prefers to see through invisible filters. Notice the red curtains. Do we exist in full size? Is a body unzipped lengthwise? Where am I in this picture, if not outside the frame I myself imagined when I imagined Gumbelt, when I imagined myself? He cuts me at the seams as he looks right through me. Zungvilda opens up to a bright morning. Can we see the good star in this light? The world, a dying dog. Did you say hope? Notice the smell. Everything is true in the end, even if it didn't start that way. The day begins in our eyes. Do our bodies look assertive on the page? Can we extract the last syllable from each blood cell? I empty myself into time like a puzzle. You come along and bring enough mirrors. Zungbilda and I enlist our former selves and devise perfect futures. A bold person with a small oar awaits in each artery a bag of mail over the shoulder. In Zungvilda's life, the dying dog, dying hope, dying and undying magic, the dying's do's and don'ts, and the house on fire and not on fire, and the fire itself, and whatever existed before, the river with its identical difference, confident narrative, its swift drowning and not drowning, broken ladder of spine. Notice the pain. Like everyone, Gumbelt and Zungvilda ask each other, what are your heart's open hours? Does it close for siesta? Does it beat out of sequence? Does its blood curl up to sleep? Does it burn? What year is this? Zungvilda sees guns. It can be any time, any place, perhaps next door on your own small street. Do the officers wish as well? I may be driving, or it may be you. Keep your eyes loaded. We travel through new territory of thought, the kind of Wild West that has no west left. The world is a dying dog, is a heart unzipped one breath at a time. Zungvilda used to be she, but turned to they, and now they are the same person to themselves, but not to Gumbelt. You and Gumbelt relax on the shore. The shiny fish emits its last breath, its glazed eye, its slick shape, its commitment to silence. One of you caught it, the other described it. The king chemistry, the exercise of breathing and not breathing and seeing others not breathing, and the lasting yes and no of our lives, and everything that existed before persisting forever, a shadow overlaid with now. The now and next, the future, attached to everything that existed before. Its identical difference, its steep ladder of spine. Does the good star wait for us? Did you say commitment? The frame shows the wedding with its white teeth of smiles, and the battle with predictable blood and bone breakage, and the still and soothing shot of a boat at sea, or just sea. Or just a boat floating in the air like love floats without landing? Is there a seam to slice into? Notice the honest look in your eyes. And how we move the frame through each day, in each century, in each corner of land, with each conflict begun, ended, repeated in new hearts. Did you say hope? Do we open up each morning with the same thirst for a better life after us? Did you say love? Or did I hear what I wanted to hear? Gumbelt is not worried. In his heart, the memories of days before Zambula's path diverged from his are more alive than today. And still, here he is, right now, on this line. Did you say, look in the mirror? I don't know myself beyond the face. I don't know where to look for the right nerve. The dog carries the bone along its thin narrative path, and I wonder if my body has been here in vain. Dew sprinkled to dry, laughter of strangers, leaves hesitant in the wind, each snowflake on its thread of moment. None of this has sutured the loss or dulled the hunger. Did you say things have already ended? Still, we exit the frame and drift to the next one. Our dream selves consult well-invented modern deities to create the best unfulfilled plans for our possible futures. We imagine the wheels turning, and our imagining turns the wheels. Was it the dog that died, or was it some builder? How did we get this far without checking up on them? Let's pay a visit, knock on their blue door, and hope they open. Ask them thoughtful questions. Note our matching red fingernails. Do our bodies open in verse or in prose? Don't worry what might or might not happen. I mix everything up, the world unzipped, the dogs unbuilded, Gumbelt, myself, yourself, the world outside me, the small world inside, my senses, my lack of senses, my certainty, my hesitation. Were we magnified? What was your question? Notice the way the dog stopped and examined us. The dream and the lack of dream and the love and the loss of love, and trying to build a new life out of it, the broken ladder of hope. Is my life zipped lengthwise? Say truth and guess what you mean. The freedom, the lack of freedom, the abdication of freedom for others. There is a seam to cut into. Kick me out of this text and mind my own business on another page. I'm in Benson bed, only Gumbelt next to me to rest in a gap between two lines, two birch trees. Look, the good star is lit, as if we never existed except in small print. Retraction. It's called that way because it's crossed out. Just hold my hand from wherever you are. Just hear me, even when I'm silent. Just think of me, even if you don't know me. Just love me, even if I don't exist. Love letter. In the sea of self, a small island of hope, hold my strings, hold my sails in your tight fist. You lover of promise, you were the first to go. Did it matter that you never reached the other shore? No one waited there anyway. Reinvent sail, reinvent waves, remap our lives, our small selves, reinvent future. Subtract your breath. Hold me by my tight strings. Trepidation. Yes. That's how I move or stand. Why be brave after the first battle? That other interpretation of myself I peddled on this other street corner named love, named ambition, named ruin still follows me, or I follow. I'd rather think with your body, its skin and other mysteries, your eyes, as they enjoy a different angle, so lovingly eluding me. The angle of sky instead, how you grasp it all at once. Theory of anger, dogs, and by the way, the scars. When anger is gone, what is left? Just because history ends one day, can we say there is no room for permanence? We carry ours with us for a while, new generations, new eternities, and so on. A letter in the mail never arriving, a dog left in the cellar with a chain on the neck where a fur used to be. We call this memory. The bark, the scars, say fear. When fear is gone, what is left? Is that what we call love? The letter is in the wrong mailbox. Small hands open the door. Love letter. I repeat myself every day to survive my overcommitted personality disorder or something else deeply wrong with me. Like lost language my blood is written in, or your eyes embedded in the time scale, day by day, since that morning on the train before the war. The language, the essence of my everything, so long that each moment bleeds to be cried for, when only you who value meanings and mourn their loss may notice. cosmology. I prefer to see it the other way. Raindrops shaped like years, a rusty truck, an old tree in the backyard. Brief intersections where our lives touched. The world spoke our language. It didn't have a choice. Survivor's guilt. You raise your hand, and the moon is back. In the forest, a tree falls. Its roots, centuries old, my mouth, its own witness. My silence lies black upon the land, but if I say the wrong words, darkness will have its way too. Soon, you're not in the scene. Imagining is my way of touch. You are the tree. The river and the sky speak the same language. Years don't change, but we shrink. I remember your glazed eyes, bony hands, smiles addressed not to me, but to something bigger. Darkness is warm in my mouth. The tree listens to my breath. The moon drops its anchor in the river. You raise your hand, and the river stands still in the mirror. Everything is like yesterday, your wrinkles smooth. If I said the right words, I would know a way out. My mouth is its own weapon. If I scream, the emptiness is more true. You dropped anchors in my eyes to pull on me forever. Serpentine thoughts climb, the sky blinks. I remember your thin arms, bony shoulders, a universe dries in me, a dead oasis of stars. The mirror sings, its shards fall back into place in my cheeks. You and I share the same body. Trees linger in growth, as in full years, shed like fluff. In the mirror, it's weighed upon me, faces waiting to become true, faces of the future dead, my own. Time is soft in my mouth. If I stop speaking to you, darkness will swallow you faster. The source of light. Love stayed too long, lasted in our bones and our eardrums, beating the dream of our best history. The empty room inside another room. It's not that you hurt me, it's that you hurt yourself against me. Let's dim the lights and see ourselves that way. Two lights that time turns off. Love letter. The clouds mirror from above your armor of words. How can we be so lowercase and continue? The slow below us, this naive mountain, a witness to nothing it understands. How and of self and other, each cell exploding with non-existence as we secrete language, our undoing and swift remake. Eyes and the smell of stars. How can we be almost see through and persist? A study in luminosity. Your palm open to seven winds, you ask, what if I stay here until a hill grows over me with a river by its side, a selfish view and no memory of me? I say, if you were the river, I'd be the sky, or something more solid to pin my memory to yours. You rest your palm on my head, pushing off as I anchor you. And you notice every living crevice. Look into faces. Tell me the brightest thing. What can I say? You are the brightest thing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So what we're going to do now is have a question and answer period. And Kristen is going to use our other mic. So we will have questions for the poet. And when you're ready to ask a question, why don't you wait for Kristen to get there with a microphone so we get a good recording of what the question actually is. And then we'll hear his answer. So, and I'll start. And I know you said that you write poetry and fiction as well. So how does that work? And how do you decide where your commitment is on a particular day? And what kind of differences are there for you in writing poetry versus writing fiction?
Thank you. It's a great question, Tom. So writing fiction, writing prose is a very much time-consuming commitment. You have to work at it day by day, and it takes me a couple of years to write a novel. Poems are different. You jot them down. Maybe you work on them for 15 years, maybe not. But you have the ability to connect the thoughts more easily and expediently in poetry, but in prose you have to do all the work of building it, building the plot, building the text. However, of course, you can possibly impact the reader more if they liked your novel than if they liked your poem. So there's a lot of difference in terms of discipline and mood and yeah. But it boils down to language for me. So anything that's connected to language is the same pursuit in a certain sense as well. Thanks for that great question.
I take it that English is not your first language?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how you enter sort of the mystery that is putting words together in a way that are profound when you're coming to a language as a secondary speaker, or, I mean, I would think it's a great challenge to write in English as a native speaker, much less as someone who learned the language later.
Thank you. Yes, it's interesting, and I think the fact that there are so many wonderful immigrant writers, including in the United States, proves that maybe there is something to the affinity for language that transcends the boundary between languages. So, for example, if you're really good at German, maybe you'd be good at Swedish too. It's just a theory of mine, but I think that being a writer is not totally about language. It's also about how you think, and you can think poetically in any language. But of course, you then have to still learn the language to try to write, I'm still learning. I've been around for a while. Thanks for that good question.
Hi. Who are some of your literary influences?
That's a really interesting question. So I don't think of literary influences in the same way as people usually talk about that. Let me try to explain what I mean by that. I would say I'm more influenced by film. I'm more influenced by the combination of people that I've met in my life. I didn't come to literature by following others whom I admire and trying to base my work on their examples. But of course there are many writers I admire, but I don't think of them as influence. I think more as affinity. Affinity is the word. And I feel an affinity to writers and poets who have compassion for their readers and their characters, broadly speaking. So the ones who look into the psychological manifestations of our lives and into the meaning of life and why we're here, how do we coexist with others. So those who meaningfully speak about this tend to speak to me as well.
I have one. What's your rehearsal process like when you're performing? It's a reading, but you're very expressive.
It's not much of a rehearsal. I will sometimes read through, but the work is familiar. So it's not like I remember all this, but I've written this. So I have a certain relationship with these words, and they kind of kick it in. So I don't really need to plan it too much. Sort of, I'm reacting back to what I've put into there, or at least that's what I think is happening. Thank you.
One last question. All right. Then the reading is going to conclude with a poem. And did you read the poem on the broadside?
I'm going to read it now.
You're going to read it now? That's good. You anticipated me. Okay, so the reading is going to conclude with a final poem.
And thank you for being here tonight, folks. It was so wonderful to see all the engaged faces. I really appreciate it, especially on a rainy day like that. This is called The Melting Star. That grimace, the way you bite your lower lip, the pain is back. Any day we'll pack a suitcase. I remember the dew by our tent as we camped and the way snow fell in all directions. And life was too bright to live. The world, described in so many ways, fit its shifting meaning. You caught a snowflake in your palm. Look here, a star.
Thank you so much for being here. And I want to say too that it is rainy, but I'm glad the weather was okay. So when we first planned the reading, there was some concern expressed about snow or ice. Maybe it was going to happen in February. And it did happen a few weeks ago, but not tonight. So wonderful to have you here, and thank you. A couple of things that I say just to end. It is Valentine's Day. We have some cookies and some candy back here, some chocolate. So please feel free to help yourself. Take some with you. That's what they're for. There are books back here at the table. And also one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that there is a Clackamas County Writing Contest going on. And it's for Clackamas residents and people who work in Clackamas County. It's sponsored by the Clackamas County Literary Arts Committee, of which I'm a member. So if you're interested in that and you live or work in Clackamas County, take a look at that on the website. And there are prizes for entering. And it's all about getting writers together and having opportunities for writing. So take a look at that. Thank you again for being here. Let's give yourselves all a hand, would you?